Love to hear what you think. So much going on right now, Coach. I want to start with some of the big news. This is interesting because now we've seen this before with coaches. I'm not saying that shame on him, but, well, shame on him. Mel Tucker, the former coach of Colorado, literally said about 24 hours ago, "This is my home. I came here. I want to continue what I've started, rebuilding this program and everything." And now he is the Michigan State head coach. Uh, Mel Tucker's a guy that, listen, he's been around. He played at Wisconsin. He was a defensive back at Wisconsin. He was a grad assistant for Nick Saban in 1997 at Michigan State. He's been a defensive coordinator for 3 NFL teams. He was interim head coach for the Jaguars in 2011. He worked under D'Antonio at Ohio State. This is interesting. Um, Coach, I know that we hear coaches say this all the time. You know that this is my home, and then they leave. Well, money talks and opportunities talk. And for Mel Tucker, I don't blame him for taking the Michigan State job over the Colorado job. It's a little more appetizing, but I don't know. Just don't you don't have to say anything when all this stuff's going on. But then again, I'm not in that situation. I'll turn it over to you. What's your opinion on this matter?
Well, it is difficult. It's not what you'd want to do. It's not what you'd want to hear as far as alumni from either team. Um, but look at the circumstances that surround it. He may have had very little choice. What they're doing at Colorado is they're telling him, if you're even thinking about going to Michigan State or leaving here in any way, now the day before, he left the day after the final recruiting day of the year.
Right.
Okay. So they may have had two, three, maybe four kids that they were hoping to sign on that last day. Now here's where some discrepancy comes in as well. He probably got a lot of pressure to say, "I'm not leaving. I'm going to be here," so that they could keep those recruits in line and get them signed, and then leave. That's good for the school. But what about the kids?
Right.
What about the kids that were maybe going there because of him? Now that's who you really kind of got to feel a little sorry for. I think the NCAA, under those circumstances, though, would step in and allow for a transfer. So that's one thing that could happen. It's not a good situation. It's not a good situation for many people there, and the hypocrisy that is viewed by many is not good for college football. So you got to look at, on the whole, I don't think it sits very well. You can't blame him for wanting to go to Michigan State. He's had some. He's a Big Ten guy. He's had some a taste of that program. He liked it, and it's a big. It's probably a fairly big contract advancement, but it just does not pass the smell test, and I don't like it, but I'm not sure exactly what you can do about it without inhibiting somebody's rights. You know.
Right. Yeah, it's one thing that when you look at this, I wag my finger at it, but then again, I'm not in their situation at all. But I agree with you, Coach. The kids losing this whole thing, and yes, while I'm saying this, I know they're still going to college, whatever they got signed or whatever. But this is an opportunity for them where they're going to spend some of them the next 4 years to go get a degree and stuff as well. For Mel Tucker, I don't blame him for taking the Michigan State job. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm not saying you stay at Colorado. There's more opportunity there at Michigan State, more resources, more money, I'm sure. Look, Mel Tucker did get the number 34 recruiting class, which was good for Colorado. He went 5-7 last year. Some people said, well, they start to see a little bit of turnaround with him. But I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things, Coach, that I agree. I don't think it's ever really going to change because someone's going to lose here. And the university may have been like, hey, look, we can't allow you to tell people, or not even you need to dispel these rumors you're going somewhere else, even if you were thinking about it, just solely because we're going to lose a lot here.
Or don't do it, because if you do and we lose those recruits, we're going to spout the bad news, and nobody can trust you.
Right.
So he had some pressure both ways. I'm sure of that. But the biggest thing with the kids is not that they're not going to get an opportunity to go to college and whatever. That's going to be there. But what if, and this happens many times, what if they went there just because of their relationship with the coach and the staff there? And now all of a sudden that's going to change. You don't know who's coming in. It could be a drastically different situation than you're accustomed to or wanted to be involved in. So that's where the rub comes.
Yeah, surely the for any of those players that would like to transfer, I would like to think the NCAA would have an opportunity for them to move if they would like to. So, moving on to a couple other things, Coach. The big news here, we mentioned it yesterday that it was close to happening, and now it's happened as the Cleveland Browns announced today, this morning actually, that defensive end Myles Garrett, his suspension is now over, and he is reinstated to start immediately. Now, this all happened, of course, after he ripped off Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph's helmet, hit him in the head with it during a Week 11 game last season, and they suspended him indefinitely. So, Coach, we talked about this. What is the proper suspension here? We went to say a year seems to be too much because it better be something big here. And I'm not saying this wasn't big, but to an extent that it goes further than this. And this, look, Myles Garrett's not a repeat offender. This is his first time. It kind of was one of the fight or flight moments for him. Are you surprised that they went ahead and didn't give him any more time, or are we good with what happened here?
I can't say I'm surprised at what happened at all. I really thought they might give him another 3 games, maybe something like that, this year, the start of the year, to add on to it and create more emphasis on what he did wrong. It gives a look for this year's crop. He's still out. As long as he's playing, they forget about the other. But anyway, all's fair in love and war, I guess. So it's we'll let it lie. We're not gonna be harmed or enhanced one way or the other by that deal.
So, Coach, Vikings add former Packers DC Dom Capers as senior defensive assistant. Coach, I know we had talked about this a little bit yesterday, but Dom Capers is a guy that when you look at the opinions on him, he's a guy that he's a good coach. He's coached for a long time there, but of course he's not the Vikings defensive coordinator. I think that's important in this situation here. Dom Capers, is he a guy that you can see helping that Vikings team, or is this a maybe inside move that, I don't know. We know that in the NFL it helps to know somebody. Is that one of these moves, or does Dom Capers seem like this is a really good move for the Vikings to add him to get that knowledge, that in-depth knowledge they need?
Well, let me tell you what I know about Dom Capers. I know him. I've never coached with him. I've never been in any uh, type situation where I could truly evaluate him as a communicator and so on. But he's going to be an assistant there. He's not going to be the coordinator. So I think that's good. That takes that pressure off his back. He is a good guy. You would like Dom Capers. I don't know of anybody who would not like Dom Capers. He's really a nice guy, good guy. Is he an excellent coach? No, he is not an excellent coach. I can tell you. I mean, when you look at as being a coach, when you look at another coach's defense or their offense or their special teams or whatever, you know what the deficiencies are, and you can see them, and they stand out like a sore thumb. And over and over and over again, I think because he was such a nice guy, I know of another coach who has had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity because he's such a nice guy, and that's Mike Riley. But he's going to get you beat. Okay, and uh, the same with Dom Capers. I just don't. Dom's never had. When has he ever had a? This is not a play on words, but a dominating defense. I mean, he just has not had that type defense. They came close a couple of times. They thought, "Oh, we're over the hump," but boy, got into a better team's playoff situation, and they run him out of the park. So he's had his problems. I would not want Dom Capers as a coordinator on my football team. But again, I have to say this: he is a good guy. He works hard. And there's a lot to be said about good guys, having good guys on your staff somewhere on your staff.
Another thing, Coach, came out yesterday and said this was Taysom Hill wants a shot at quarterback. He said whether it's for the Saints or somewhere else, he doesn't really care, but he wants his opportunity. Former special teams coordinator Mike Westhoff said, listen, Taysom Hill throws the ball better than Lamar Jackson. And we've talked about this before when Lamar Jackson throwing the football. Taysom Hill, though, Coach, I don't know. At BYU, we saw him. He was about a 50% completion percentage quarterback. I know guys can get better. Listen, when you look at Patrick Mahomes from Texas Tech to now, he's nowhere near the quarterback he was in college. Certain things fit different guys. For Taysom Hill, though, is this a guy that, just seeing what you've seen now, I know they utilize him in so many opportunities, and me personally think he's in a perfect position, but I understand him wanting to play quarterback for himself here. But for the Saints, does that make sense? I mean, I know Breeze may have a year or two left. I personally think Breeze has got one more year. But does this make sense for the Saints should they give him a shot at quarterback and see where it goes? Preseason maybe?
No. I like the way he throws the football, okay? I haven't seen him play that much quarterback, just spurts here and there, and he's done a good job. I like the way he gets the ball up, throws the ball over the top. He's got a good spin on it. He's got good touch on the football. So you can tell he's got some passing skills. Nobody could duplicate Drew Brees. So, I mean, to think that he could even duplicate Drew Brees is folly. That would get you beat right off the bat. Put him in there, put Drew Brees and not have, when you got a chance to have Drew Brees on the field, get used to the street lights because you're going to the streets. I think it would be absolutely crazy not to have Drew Brees as your quarterback. Now, I like what they've done with this guy, okay? And he should be appreciative, too, of the fact that he's getting to play. He's gaining a reputation. If he really wants to play quarterback, if he continues to play the way he's playing, he's being more and more and more recognized as a great competitor. That's one of the intangibles you have to be a good quarterback. He's getting enough throws and enough quarterback type plays in their offense that somebody would have a general idea, and certainly there would be workouts and that type thing going forward. But the point I'm getting to, it may allow for an opportunity for him down the road to play quarterback for somebody. It may not be the Saints. It may be the Saints. It may not be the Saints. But it would probably allow for him to play quarterback for somebody. I feel pretty good about that. Now, how he would do, I don't think anybody can project what he would be as an NFL quarterback all the way playing that position full time.
Yeah, that's the big question mark there when you look at that. And I think when you look at what the Saints have done with Taysom Hill, it reminds you of a Antoine Randall or a Hines Ward situation, how they utilized them. Guys that were former quarterbacks. Taysom Hill isn't a perfect opportunity, though, Coach. I think you're right. And I think he should be appreciative of it. I understand him wanting to play quarterback. Listen, we saw Tim Tebow do the same thing. Tebow wanted to play quarterback. Otherwise, if he played another position, he might still be in this league. But for Taysom Hill, he is the ultimate competitor. He is the ultimate utility man. That's what he's known in the NFL for, and that's something special that can take him a long way.
A good comparison is Tebow. Tebow should have. I really was hoping that Tim would go down this path right here, just like Taysom Hill, exactly like him. And I thought that might happen at New England when he went to New England. I don't know what happened, and it's really not my business to know what happened. But not that I wouldn't like to know, but he could have done a perfect job doing what Tyson Hill is doing, and it may have given him the opening later to play the quarterback position, full time. Also, if you remember back to, what was his name? He gave the original Slash at Pittsburgh. But he wanted to play quarterback as well. But he got some quarterback. He got some throws. He ran reverses and ran out of the backfield, caught passes, did all kinds of things, and ended up being a quarterback. So that can happen. But anyway, bide your time, do as good a job as you can, and be prepared when it happens.
Yeah, I agree with you, Coach. It's something that's interesting to see what happens with this, especially with Taysom Hill coming out and saying this, to see what happens with it. Saints fans, I think you definitely want Taysom Hill. I don't know if you want him as your quarterback, but listen, if you got a different opinion, we'd love to hear it. Remember, our studio line is 850-623-1330. You can call or text that line. Right now, we're up against a break. When we come back, we've got some college news for you, breaking down a couple schedules, some interesting things to see, maybe things getting easier for some teams here. And David Tepper talking about Cam Newton. You don't want to miss it. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Wendy's has been showing everyone how to do fast food right for 50 years. And now they're showing them how 2 for $5s are done with Wendy's 2 for $5. It's the only one where you can get Wendy's fresh, never frozen beef and that Wendy's spicy chicken you crave. Pick 2 for $5. Choose between the juicy Dave Single, the tasty spicy chicken sandwich, 10-piece crispy, or spicy nuggets. Come in today and taste how a real 2 for $5 is done. Only at Wendy's. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada. Price and participation may vary for a limited time only.
First Take, Your Take with Jason Fitz.
Remember, it's not that long ago the 76ers over-exceeded expectations in the playoffs, right? So suddenly it became they are the future and the future is now. Trust the process became this thing that works. Now they've hit a wall. And it's staggering to me to hear Embiid talk about he doesn't know if he's getting the ball. And Horford to say, we've got issues in the locker room, but we'll keep that private. Guess what? You just made them public.
1 to 2 weekday afternoons on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
There's only one name in town when it comes to afternoon local sports talk. The Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante.
Some athletes don't want to be given... nobody does. No, look, when you play with your pops as he gets older, one of the most embarrassing things, my daughter's 3, I just slam it right in her face right at the play school hoop. Like right there, like I'm Zion Williamson.
The games, the players, the fans. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You can watch Coach K talk football live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
And welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Some more big news here as we move along. Coach, I want to jump into this. David Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers. A lot of things that he's done now and come out and said that people are kind of like, okay. Well, when reporters were asking him about Cam Newton, is he coming back? Is he coming back? Is he coming back? I think that's one of the big questions. You got a new coach and Matt Rule. You got Joe Brady. You got somebody almost like they wiped everything clean there. With Ron Rivera now going to the Washington Redskins. Asking him about Cam Newton, he said, well, look, when Cam's healthy, then we can talk. But until then, I'm not going to say anything right now. I want him healthy. And I think, Coach, is this the Panthers? Are they kind of getting tired of this whole Cam Newton injury thing? And I know, injuries are injuries, but not just Cam Newton's injuries, but this whole process here. And in your opinion, is it time to move on from Cam Newton?
I would say there's a good chance that there is, that it is time to move on. But now this is understandable for him to say, we've got to wait until this guy's healthy. Because as it stands right now, we don't have Cam Newton. He's injured. He can't participate. He can't even participate in their off-season drills or anything. So we don't have him right now, and we won't have him until he gets well. When he does get well, then we'll decide. We can talk about this and look at the options, because he may have some too, and I think that certainly should be understandable from the standpoint of the media, that they get him healthy before they say anything.
Yeah, I think personally, though, with the whole Cam Newton, look, Cam Newton has come out and said that he wants to stay in Carolina, but I think that's more for Cam Newton trying to, when you talk about teams looking at him and having a notch against him, if he was to say, I don't want to be here, we talked about a player saying that yesterday with the Redskins, that's something coaches look at. And for a figure like Cam Newton, which has the craziest attire, we've seen that with him. I think that's what he's known best for. Goodness gracious, what he wears. But regardless, Cam Newton, I think, is still a good enough quarterback, but with what Carolina's doing right now, I don't think it's a situation that he can win in, nor I think Carolina wants to. We've seen them wipe clean. I think they want all this drama kind of gone as well, and it's an opportunity for Matt Rule to kind of make his statement here with his own guy he brings in. It's interesting. A lot of things can go on here. Just that's kind of the feeling I get with what Matt Rule has done, is he wants his own stamp on this organization. He wants to make that big move. I don't know if we haven't heard anything from him about Cam Newton.
Well, let me say this about what's going on up there. It's very obvious to me that Matt Rule is taking over, and he is taking over totally. He has said what he wanted up there, and they've gotten it done, okay? I would guess that he's not enamored with Cam Newton. Now, keep in mind the other thing that he's done, which is big, and how that might be affected. He brought in Joe Brady. Joe Brady is a young guy. He's never been a coordinator before, even though he did what he did at LSU, which was very, very commendable. But he's got that's going to be a strange relationship.
I agree.
between the two, and there may have been. Keep in mind, things go on we don't know about, other people don't know about, but you might know about on the inside. There may have been some comments from Cam Newton about Joe Brady. They could have met and didn't hit it off that well. We just don't know. But Joe Brady's there. Joe Brady's going to be the offensive coordinator. And Cam Newton may not be the quarterback, but he's going to be the offensive coordinator. So that's going to be another behind-the-scenes type thing, JP, that we're just going to have to ferret out as we go along. I could tell you we can read the tea leaves after they start the off-season workouts. We can start reading the tea leaves. You can bet.
Yeah, you'll be able to figure out a lot when you look at this, Coach. One thing I want to ask you too, of course, if Cam Newton does leave, Kyle Allen and Will Grier are the quarterbacks. Is this and I know we don't know with Joe Brady and new coaching staff coming in, but is this an opportunity maybe for Phillip Rivers, or do the Panthers even need to get another quarterback than what they have? Because we know they have some really good receivers. They have a decent offensive line. I mean, it's not great. They have Christian McCaffrey, one of the most explosive utility guys in the game, and they have a defense that's shown signs they can be good. They just last year was almost a wasted year. It just seemed like they have enough talent to go out. Now Luke Kuechly is gone. That was their brains on the defense there. And then Greg Olsen, who's been injury prone, but he was a really good tight end for him. Do they need to go out and get a quarterback if Cam Newton leaves?
Let me tell you something interesting. We can put up in the air if you want to, conspiracy theory if you will, but it may be a little more than that. Phillip Rivers is out there. Where did Phillip Rivers play college football?
NC State.
North Carolina State.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a home state product. There's some displeasure with Cam Newton there and the fans. Okay. This guy, the new owner, is going to want to maximize everything he can about that franchise. What if he brought Phillip Rivers in there, a known quantity, played at North Carolina State, would give him time to, and they may be looking at doing this too. Bring Phillip Rivers in. I don't think they have anything that is going to be you can project right now as a franchise quarterback with what they have. Could be, but I don't think they do. But they may be looking at drafting a quarterback too. So anyway, there are a lot of possibilities there. Really, I think the door is open to do pretty much what they want to do.
And to talk about Phillip Rivers for just a minute, Coach, there's been rumors, and this is, once again, purely rumors here when we talk about this. That's pretty much what it is this offseason till anything happens. Rumors that Phillip Rivers could go to Chicago to take over for Mitch Trubisky. And we've seen the up and down Trubisky there. I really don't think that Chicago, it's one of these things they're not going to admit they made a mistake with Mitch Trubisky because then they would look like a fool in this. Phillip Rivers, I believe, was just looking at that. Well, that could be a good pickup for them as well. And they have a defense that's good enough to go out and compete for a Super Bowl. Offensively, though, they are so stagnant. Is this something, we talk about the what ifs. Would this be a good fit for Phillip Rivers going to Chicago?
Well, I think Rivers would look at the opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. What opportunity might he have if he went there? And you're right; they have a good defense. I question somewhat their offense. I think they've got a couple of deficiencies in their offensive line that they could plug those gaps. I think. I think they need some more help around him. Some better receiver help, as you like so many teams do right now.
Absolutely.
So I think it would be up in the air. Not a bad choice, but that's a tough division too. You got to look at. That's a very, very tough division to try to get out of that division and into the playoffs. So that would play a factor. The other thing you got to look at with Rivers, he has made the statement, and he's already sold his home out there in California, and he's moved his whole family. He's got about 10 kids.
He's almost got a football team out there.
I know. I think he does have 10 or 11. But he's already moved his family back to Florida. I would guess probably somewhere. I would bet it's somewhere in northwest Florida or north central Florida, because he's from Alabama.
Yep, Decatur.
Yeah. And played high school football there, and then went to North Carolina State. So he talked about his family, being closer to his family, being closer to home, what he calls home, and he obviously feels like this part of the country is home to him. So factor those things in. Now, would he want to go to Chicago? I don't know. I think if he felt that he could go to a football team and have a good chance to get to the Super Bowl, or have a winning football team, yeah, it would be enticing to him. But just to take off to parts unknown, I don't know that he would want to do that. But I'm going to tell you that it may sound far fetched, but Carolina's not out of the question there, because that's he played not far from there.
Well, remember too, Coach, he came out yesterday and said that he wants to play 2 years max. So it's obvious there he wants to play for a Super Bowl. So he doesn't want to go just to any team. I think that's kind of his point. Yeah. If he can't get to an opportunity where he can win and compete for a Super Bowl, he's probably just going to go ahead and hang it up. I don't think he wants to, because he is a competitor.
He's a competitor, and he could still play too. People, they want to be quick to say all these quarterbacks like Breeze. I have heard this over and over. Breeze, Brady, all of them. Especially those three, they've reached a certain age now. They're falling off a cliff, and no, they're probably at when you combine experience and having seen it all, and their ability to perform under pressure, they may be nearing their max right now.
Yeah, that's a good point there. And for Phillip Rivers, look, you said Northwest Florida. Coach, I hope he's in Northwest Florida. And Phillip, if you're listening, definitely call into our show. We'd love to talk to you, get some insight here. No, but look, we're up against a break again here. When we come back, we've got a lot of college news to break down. We've got interesting schedules with some local teams around here. You're not going to want to miss it. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn.
On winning teams, every player brings their unique strength and has an impact on the results. For Kevin McHale, that meant coming off the bench for the Boston Celtics. Of his almost 1,000 career games, he only started 400 of them. Yet McHale helped lead the Celtics to 3 NBA championships, played in 7 All-Star games, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
You wouldn't draft a point guard to play center, right? It's the same thing as when you're going to hire your next teammate. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interests, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Our new PXG Gen 3 irons are the best golf irons we've ever made by a long shot. Gen 3 irons deliver game-changing distance, outstanding accuracy with a feel so soft it's like spreading warm butter on a hot biscuit. Oh my! Gen 3 irons are sold only at PXG stores, PXG Fitting Studios, PXG.com, and at select custom fitters like Club Champion. To find out where to get your set, visit PXG.com or call 844-PLAY-PXG today.
You can watch Coach K talk football live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you, alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Well, Coach, get into some college news here. I know that, this is the off season here. We talk about spring football coming up before long. It'll be here as we're already halfway through February now. When you look at teams, Auburn, Texas A&M, Florida, of course, Auburn and Florida, a lot of fans around here, and there is some Texas A&M fans. I see it every once in a while, and they're growing. I want to start with Florida right now, Coach. When we talk about the schedule last year, having to play, of course, they went 11-2. They were on the cusp of making a huge statement here. Of course, they led in the LSU game for the majority of that game. LSU come back, and what LSU, of course, win the national championship. Really tough, of course, playing Auburn, LSU, and Georgia last year, kind of the typical SEC schedule you look at. Well, Coach, I want to mention that now their schedule this year, to me, it seems very favorable. I mean, this is as good as it's going to get for Florida. And when they're making the statement that they are with recruiting and everything as well, Kyle Trask coming back, the plethora of receivers, just so interesting. They start off with Eastern Washington, then play Kentucky and South Alabama. These are all at home. Now they go on the road to Tennessee, then are back home for South Carolina and LSU, go to Ole Miss, of course, Georgia games in Jacksonville. They go to Vandy, which is not really a away game for them, probably more of a home game. Then they are back home for Missouri and New Mexico State, and then finish the season at FSU. When you look at this, Coach, we don't know what LSU is going to be. LSU will be competitive. I don't know if they'll be anywhere near the level of a top of a SEC. I know we got a lot of time till then. Of course, a number 3 recruiting class for LSU can mean a lot of things. The LSU and Georgia game, that's kind of it for them. I mean, those are 2 games, and really, we don't know what Georgia's going to be either. With Georgia, 4 of the 5 starting offensive linemen have left. Now we know they'll revamp the offensive line, but how good will it be with some of these young guys coming in? New quarterback, Jamie Newman, who knows what he's going to be here. DeAndre Swift, guys like that at running back position are gone. At receiver, they're very thin. Cager will be gone, so it's Pickens. Kenny Pickens will be their guy. So, Coach, this is an opportunity for Florida that they may not get for a while here, and to build up to what they've had, this could be their opportunity to make a move.
I think it's a good schedule for Florida. Very, very favorable schedule. You have to say that. And I would agree with you. I think they're going to be on more of an even keel with Georgia this year than they were the last 2 years, certainly, even last year. And they still don't play Alabama. And this is a schedule that they have to be fairly pleased with at this point. A good chance to build some depth early, which is important.
Moving on to another team, Coach, I know that you've talked a lot about this team as well as a team to look out for, and the schedule says so as well. Texas A&M. Now, the recruiting class they had, number 6 recruiting class, getting some big-time 5-stars in there. And the biggest thing to me going back to it is they stole some of these 5-stars from teams like Alabama. That says a lot, Alabama and LSU. When you look at this, of course, last year they played a gauntlet, and they were 8-5, but the 5 teams they lost to, Clemson, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, and LSU. Okay, fair enough. That's a pretty big gauntlet when you look at it. This year, they start off with Abilene Christian. They play North Texas, Colorado, and Arkansas. Those are at home. They go on the road to Mississippi State. That could be a tricky game for them. Fresno State at home. Then they go to Auburn, to South Carolina. Then are back home for Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. Go to Alabama, and then finish the season with LSU. Now, Coach, finishing the season with Alabama and LSU, that'll be really tough for them. But you look at Auburn, what is Auburn going to be this year? We're not sure. Of course, their starting tailback just entered the transfer portal. A lot maybe going on there. Can Bo Nix be the guy that they want him to be? We saw flashes of it, but we don't know yet. What's that defense going to look like? Basically that whole defensive line is going to the NFL draft. In fact, I believe that whole defensive line is in the NFL draft. Yeah. So when you look at it, Coach, Texas A&M with the recruiting they've done, how close they are, I think the only question I look at, schedule-wise, it's not bad. Kellen Mond, the quarterback for him, that's the guy I wonder, can he step up and be the elite SEC quarterback this year?
Okay, well, I think that's an excellent question. I'm not totally sold on Mond as a quarterback, but I will tell you this. Look at the schedule that Texas A&M had last year compared to the one they've got coming up this year, and what a relief. This is big. I mean, they could be 6, 7, 8 wins right off the bat. Now, you're right. They're going to end up Alabama and LSU back-to-back. Oh, it's tough. But I think they're Alabama away, LSU at home. So, but either way, I mean, that's going to be extremely tough. But look who they traded games for. You know, just absolutely amazing. Much better schedule, more experienced football team. They're going to be, Texas A&M is going to rear their head here in the not too distant future, and they're going to be tough to deal with. I've said that. And they're going to continue to be improved because they're going to get those, they got a much broader, deeper recruiting base to choose from than most of the other teams do in the SEC.
Yeah, I agree with Texas A&M. This is an opportunity for them to make a statement. Of course, 8-5. I'm not saying they're going to win the SEC by any means, but it is a good step for them right here. A favorable schedule.
And you know, we talked about last year. There were 2 teams that we said off the bat, my goodness, before the season even started, what a terrible schedule they had, Texas A&M and Auburn. And they both lighten up considerably this year. So you might want to jump down some of the Auburn schedules. There's some of the trade-outs they've had, which is good for them.
And moving on to Auburn, look, last year playing Oregon, starting off a season with Oregon, going to Texas A&M, to Florida, and to LSU, and then also Georgia and Alabama. You talk about a gauntlet. That's a pretty good gauntlet, too. This year, a lot easier when you look at it. Alcorn State, North Carolina, they go to Ole Miss, play Southern Miss and Kentucky. They go to Georgia, play Texas A&M, at Mississippi State. They're home against Arkansas, UMass, and LSU, and then go to Bama. This is an Auburn team. I know there's a lot of question marks with it, Coach, but that's a schedule that you'll definitely take over last year's schedule.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that's you talk about a weight being lifted off that football team, and you're right. They lost. They've got quite a bit of attrition there. That whole defensive line is going to be drafted. They've got some other defensive players that they're going to lose. They just got a lot to overcome here, but they've got a much easier path to do it than they did last year.
One thing in some more college news, Coach, the top 2 recruits for LSU, they've had shoulder surgery. Of course, the article came out. 5 stars, Eric Gilbert, which is the big tight end for him, and Elias Ricks, the cornerback. They're going to looks to be back after spring. They could be back mid-spring, but they're going to shut them down. Coach, the crazy thing with this, not really funny, but the crazy thing, Elias Ricks played his whole senior year at cornerback with a torn labrum in high school. That's a pretty tough kid to play with a torn labrum all year, especially cornerback.
Oh, you can betcha. That is double tough. So if he did it well enough to get a major D1 scholarship, my hat's off.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we're up against a break here. When we come back, we're going to have some more NFL news for you. And XFL Star of the Week, well, you're going to have to tune in to find out who it might be. It may not surprise you as much as what you thought. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 991 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, Highway 29 in Car City.
Friends, let's talk about Daniel. A year ago, he resolved to stop putting off what he wanted to do, get into information technology. Daniel enrolled in My Computer Career and is now already a few months into his IT career. Make 2020 your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Classes meet on campus or live online just 2 times a week. It ain't rocket science. It's My Computer Career. mycomputercareer.edu.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best 4G LTE networks, same as the big carriers, but just for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, saving you up to half the cost of the big carriers. No contract. Full court coverage, half the cost. Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Tap Book Bar and Bistro is the South's premier destination for high-energy sports entertainment. Enjoy award-winning food and a wide variety of draft beer selections with a local flair. Featuring a giant video wall, dozens of HD TVs, and a smoke-free video poker bar, there's no better place to be for sports entertainment. Join us at Tap Book Bar and Bistro, only at Beau Rivage. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
The latest sports news is at ESPNpensacola.com and on Facebook at ESPN Pensacola. Plus, watch Chad Brillante, Coach K, and Sports Call live on our exclusive YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Talk football every day with Pensacola's own Coach K.
Credit a great performance by Garoppolo. And I love the way he throws the football. He's got all the things going for him.
Every weekday, noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Coach, jumping into a couple things here. In XFL news for the inaugural XFL first week there, the star of the week. Not a big surprise after watching the games if you tuned in. If not, you definitely need to tune in this week. Houston Roughnecks quarterback P.J. Walker, a former Temple star there. 23 of 29 for 272 passing yards, 298 total yards, and 4 touchdowns. Coach, when you look at this, P.J. Walker was a guy that was not on my radar when you talk about the star quarterbacks that were going to be in this league. But this is a guy that – this is what I love about the XFL. It's an opportunity to show – to get an experience for a guy like P.J. Walker to go out there and show what he can do. And I thought he did a phenomenal job on Saturday.
Well, he did, and it's right up his alley. The offense that he's in, keep in mind, he's with June Jones there at Houston. And run and shoot. So you just, it's 1-2 throw, 1-2-3 throw, bang, bang, bang. And then they run an option, which he's very good at. That offense would not suit most of the quarterbacks, would not suit them. But it does suit him. And he did a heck of a job, and he deserved to be player of the week. I look for him to have a good first 4 or 5 ball games, JP, for sure. Now they could catch up on it a little as they go through the season, but the first 4, 5, 6 ball games, they should do well.
Yeah, Coach, I know that you want to know the analysis that Booger McFarland said. Look, Booger McFarland came out and said, listen, after week 1, all 8 of these teams are still playoff. They have the playoff potential. That's interesting to know when you think about Week 1. Booger McFarland coming through with the good insight as always. But to talk about some more XFL stuff, Coach, look, the Roughnecks took down the Wildcats 37-17, and it was good enough to get Pepper Johnson fired. I mean, goodness, there was quite the showing there. When you look at some of the matchups this week, of course, the Roughnecks will be playing on Sunday in the big game there against the Battlehawks. One thing that I noticed, too, is all these teams, when they talk about the XFL, it was supposed to be pass heavy, pass heavy, pass heavy, but the St. Louis Battlehawks went the exact opposite. Now, Jordan Ta'amu, the former Ole Miss quarterback there, they run the football so well, it almost surprised Dallas by their game plan there. And when I look at this, Coach, is this going to be a pass-heavy league because we have these bigger star quarterbacks for what it is? This was built around these quarterbacks. They're paid more money than these guys. That's what this was about. Or can we see more rushing the football, or does it matter? They just want to win football games here.
Well, I think the latter is the case. It doesn't matter. They just want to win. I think you'll see more, probably more passing as the league goes on.
A couple of things just to mention, though. Tampa Vipers quarterback. Now, Tampa Vipers lost a tough one there. New York Guardians 23-3, and the Vipers, look, Mark Trestman, they were outmatched. But you look at Aaron Murray, he was 16-34 in the loss, and he is day-to-day right now. Now, Coach, the question is, everybody's been asking, well, is he day-to-day because of his performance, or is he day-to-day because of the injury? And Mark Trestman simply said, listen, he's got a leg problem. That's all I'm going to say. We'll see what happens. We'll see where he's at, where he's going to play this weekend as the Vipers take on the Dragons on Saturday. But, Coach, I can't help but wonder, the day-to-day injury, I know that he did have a little bit of a leg problem there, but we may see a change of quarterback with the Vipers if this continues.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, if you watch the ball game, and doesn't take a football expert to realize that Aaron Murray was surprisingly jumpy, was not never settled into the game, no accuracy on his throws, terrible timing, just looked nervous, hyper. And that's surprising for a guy who has played as much football as he has, certainly at Georgia, the all-time SEC passing leader, and to play that way and show that much lack of experience. He looked like a guy who had never been in the game before. But anyway, hopefully that will dissipate for him, and he'll get a little better feel and get his legs under him and be ready to go. I hope so.
Yeah, and one thing to remember, though, the quarterback behind him, Quentin Flowers, and he's more of a rusher, but he can also throw the football. He played at South Florida. Really good quarterback there. Interesting to see what the Vipers do. Like a lot of fans, the intrigue and everything that the game's had with it this week, Tampa Bay Viper fans expected a lot different. Now, it's Week 1. Obviously, we understand this as well as anybody. But moving on, Coach. Well, FSU, we talked about them adding LSU with not home and home, but I guess neutral site field for 2022 and 2023. FSU, of course, will take on LSU at the Superdome in 2022 to open the season, and in 2023 they'll open the season at Camping World Stadium in Orlando. Well, just some more FSU news here. They added a game against Southern Miss at home the week after the LSU game in 2023. Not that big a surprise, just some local news here for you FSU fans as well. One thing I want to get into, Coach, we got a few minutes. Eric Bieniemy, he's the Chiefs' offensive coordinator here. He's rumored to be the top candidate for the Colorado job. Now, a lot of people reading articles about this are telling him, look, stay away from that Colorado job. Now, I know there's a lot that goes into this. It's more about Eric Bieniemy and what he's done. He's done a phenomenal job with the Kansas City Chiefs, as has Andy Reid. You can't give him all the credit, but with a young offense like that, and it seems like the Chiefs could be around for a while, this could be a great opportunity. You know Eric Bieniemy's getting paid. With Colorado, people heeding his warning of taking that job. Is that correct, or is this an opportunity that sometimes as a coach you can't pass up to go be a head coach somewhere?
Well, there's so many things here, JP, that you have to take a look at. Number one, the head coach of Kansas City, offensive coordinator, play caller, quarterback coach, all offense inclusive, is Andy Reid. Period. Now, the peers know that. Players know that. Eric Bieniemy is called an offensive coordinator. That's about as false a title as you can put. He's no more an offensive coordinator than I'm an aviator. But he's
congratulations, Coach.
Yeah, well, I'm not. So, but anyway, you have to take that into consideration. Now, what that means may not mean anything. Hey, I'm glad to sit here behind the false bravado and let her go. Or he may be mistakenly thinking that it's going to lead to a head job in the NFL. Now, it may, but just like this year, knowing what you know, and he didn't get a whisper this year for a head job. Do you think maybe some other people know about that as well? Some other people know that that's not him putting together a game plan. That's not him initiating the strategy and then following through with it and coaching quarterbacks and receivers and whatever. Andy Reid takes on the job, the whole job offensively. And he should. And that's been obviously proven to be true. Bieniemy, if he wants to be a head coach, there's good reason to go to Colorado. He played there. Now, can he get the resources and make them available to win at Colorado? You know what you got to do at Colorado if you're going to win. You got to recruit in a lot of different places. You don't get enough players to win with in the state of Colorado. You got to be able to get into California and be exceptionally successful in California. You got to be able to get down into the South, Texas, and want to get some people out of Texas. They haven't been able to do that, and it's difficult to do. So put all those things together. If you just want to be a head coach, then he better go take the Colorado deal. If he wants to sit with a pretty good safety net there, and I don't know how long Andy's going to coach, but he's probably going to be very safe as long as Andy coaches.
That's a good point, Coach. And interesting to see what he'll do here. Maybe a good move for him, but regardless, if Colorado can get in, that'd be awesome. But, Coach, once again, we run out of time. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
You bet.
Hey, you've been listening to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. Same time tomorrow. We'll see you.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM.